To further illustrate this point, let's consider a story from the life of Diogenes, a philosopher who lived a life of extreme simplicity. Diogenes owned almost nothing, living in a simple barrel and carrying only a small cup. One day, he saw a young boy drinking water from his hands. Realizing that he didn't even need the cup, Diogenes threw it away, declaring, "If a child can live without it, so can I." While Diogenes wasn't a Stoic, his life exemplified the kind of freedom that comes from needing very little. He was content with what he had, and as a result, he was truly wealthy in the Stoic sense. The core of the Stoic philosophy is understanding that external things, including money and material goods, are not within our control. What is within our control is how we respond to these external things. The Stoics taught that by focusing on our inner virtues, wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, we can cultivate a kind of wealth that is far more enduring and meaningful than any amount of money. This Stoic attitude toward money and material goods is not just about renunciation or living in poverty. It's about achieving a state of mind where you are not ruled by your possessions or your desire for more. It's about finding balance, using money as a tool to live a good life, but not letting it become the measure of your life's worth. In today's world, where consumerism and the pursuit of wealth are often glorified, the Stoic philosophy offers a refreshing and powerful counterpoint. It reminds us that true wealth is found in simplicity, in self-mastery, and in living according to our values. It encourages us to question the societal narrative that equates success with material wealth and to redefine success in terms of inner peace and virtue. Let's take a practical example from modern life. Imagine you're in a job that pays very well, but it demands long hours and leaves you feeling stressed, unfulfilled, and disconnected from your loved ones. The Stoic approach would be to ask yourself, what is the true cost of this job? Is the money worth the toll it's taking on your mental and physical health? Is it worth the time you're sacrificing with your family and friends? The Stoics would encourage you to consider whether you're living in alignment with your values, or whether you're sacrificing too much for the sake of material gain. Conversely, imagine you have the opportunity to take a job that pays less, but offers more time for personal growth, family, and pursuing your passions. The Stoic view would suggest that this might be a better choice, as it aligns more closely with the pursuit of a life, well-lived one, where you have the time and energy to cultivate your virtues and enjoy the simple pleasures of life. To the Stoic attitude toward money also involves practicing generosity. The Stoics believe that wealth should be used for the common good, not just for personal gain. Seneca, for instance, was known for his generosity, often giving away large portions of his wealth to help others. He understood that by sharing his resources, he was not only helping those in need, but also freeing himself from the attachment to wealth. Generosity, in the Stoic sense, is a way to remind ourselves that we don't need to hoard wealth to be happy. Instead, we can find joy in contributing to the well-being of others. Consider how you might apply this principle in your own life. Instead of focusing solely on accumulating wealth, think about how you can use your resources to make a positive impact. This doesn't necessarily mean giving away all your money, but it could mean donating to causes you care about, helping a friend in need, or even investing your time and energy into something that benefits others. The Stoics would argue that the satisfaction you gain from such acts of kindness is worth far more than any material possession. Another important aspect of the Stoic attitude toward money is the concept of preparing for poverty. This doesn't mean that you should expect to become poor, but rather that you should mentally and emotionally prepare yourself for the possibility. The Stoics believe that by imagining the worst-case scenario, such as losing all your wealth, you could reduce the fear of it actually happening. This practice, known as premeditatio malorum, helps build resilience and reduces anxiety, because you realize that even if you lose everything, you still have the inner strength to carry on. Imagine yourself suddenly losing all your worldly possessions. How would you feel? Initially, there might be panic and despair, but the Stoic approach would encourage you to consider what remains. your character, your relationships, your ability to think and reason. These are things that no one can take away from you, and they are the true sources of your wealth. By contemplating such a scenario, you begin to understand that while losing material wealth might be challenging, it's not the end of the world. You start to see that your true value lies in your virtues, your wisdom, and your ability to navigate life's challenges with grace. This mindset doesn't just prepare you for potential hardships, it also helps you appreciate what you have right now, without being consumed by the fear of losing it. Let's take a moment to apply this to a real-life situation. Imagine you've been saving diligently for years, building up a nice cushion of savings, but then, an unexpected event like a medical emergency or a sudden economic downturn wipes out a significant portion of your savings. The initial shock might be overwhelming, but with the Stoic mindset, you would remind yourself that your savings, while important, do not define you. You would focus on what you can control: your response to the situation, your ability to adapt, and your commitment to rebuilding if necessary. This doesn't mean you shouldn't care about your financial well-being, or that you shouldn't take steps to protect your savings. The Stoics were practical people who valued prudence and foresight. However, they also believed that it's crucial not to let your sense of self-worth or your peace of mind become too tightly bound to your financial situation. By practicing premeditatio malorum, you can face financial setbacks with a calm and steady attitude, knowing that your happiness and your worth are not tied to your bank account. Another powerful lesson from Stoicism is the idea of living according to nature, which means aligning your life with the natural order of things and accepting what comes your way with equanimity. When applied to money and material goods, this principle suggests that we should live in harmony with our needs, rather than constantly striving for excess. This doesn't mean rejecting wealth or comfort, but rather understanding that these things should not dominate our lives or dictate our happiness. Consider the natural world. Animals take what they need to survive, no more, no less. They don't hoard or accumulate beyond their needs, because they live in tune with nature. The Stoics believe that humans, too, should strive to meet their needs, without being consumed by greed or the desire for more. They saw luxury and excess as distractions from the pursuit of a virtuous life. In our modern world, this might mean rethinking our approach to consumerism. Instead of constantly seeking the next new thing, a bigger house, a fancier car, the latest gadget, we could focus on what truly brings us joy and fulfillment. This might involve simplifying our lives, reducing our possessions, and focusing on experiences and relationships rather than material goods. The Stoics also taught the importance of gratitude. They believed that by appreciating what we have, we can cultivate a sense of contentment and inner peace, regardless of our external circumstances. Gratitude shifts our focus from what we lack to what we already possess, helping us to see the abundance in our lives. Imagine waking up each day and, instead of immediately thinking about what you want or what you don't have, you take a moment to reflect on what you're grateful for. It could be something as simple as a warm bed, the roof over your head, or the love of family and friends. This practice of gratitude, central to Stoic thought, can transform your relationship with money and material goods. It reminds you that true wealth is not in having more, but in appreciating what you already have. Let's return to the idea of money as a tool. The Stoics would argue that money, like any tool, should be used wisely and purposefully. Just as you wouldn't use a hammer for a task that requires a screwdriver, you shouldn't use money to try to fill an emotional or spiritual void. If you do, you'll likely find that no amount of money can satisfy that need. Instead, the Stoics would advise using money to support a life that aligns with your values. This might mean spending on education, which helps you grow in wisdom, or on experiences that deepen your relationships and bring joy. It might mean donating to causes that promote justice and the common good. The key is to use money in ways that enhance your life and the lives of others, rather than allowing it to become an end in itself. A modern example of this could be seen in the growing trend of minimalism, where people intentionally reduce their possessions to focus on what truly matters. Minimalism echoes many Stoic principles: living with less, focusing on inner peace, and rejecting the idea that material wealth equals happiness. It's about creating a life that is rich in experiences, relationships, and personal growth, rather than one cluttered with unnecessary stuff. The Stoics would also encourage us to consider our legacy. When you think about your legacy, what comes to mind? Is it the amount of money you leave behind? Or is it the impact you've had on the lives of others? The Stoics believe that the mark of a life well lived isn't measured by the wealth you accumulate, but by the virtues you cultivate and the positive influence you have on the world. They encourage people to live in such a way that their actions would inspire, teach, and uplift others long after they were gone. Imagine, for a moment, that you are at the end of your life. What would you want to be remembered for? Would it be the value of your estate, or the kindness you've shown, the wisdom you've shared, and the love you've given? The Stoics would argue that the latter is far more meaningful. Money and possessions may fade, but the impact of a virtuous life endures. The Stoic approach to legacy is about focusing on the quality of your life, not the quantity of your possessions. It's about living in a way that your actions, words, and choices leave a positive imprint on the world. This could be as simple as being a good friend, a loving parent, or a mentor to someone in need. It could be about contributing to your community, standing up for what's right, or simply living with integrity and compassion. This focus on legacy ties back to the Stoic principle of living in accordance with nature. They believe that we are all part of a larger whole, interconnected with others and the world around us. By living virtuously, we contribute to the greater good and align ourselves with the natural order of the universe. In doing so, we find a deeper sense of purpose and fulfillment than we ever could through the pursuit of wealth alone. Let's consider a practical example of how this might look in today's world. Think about someone like Warren Buffett, one of the wealthiest people in the world. Despite his immense wealth, Buffett is known for his frugality and his commitment to giving back. He has pledged to give away the majority of his fortune to charitable causes, understanding that his legacy isn't just about the money he's made but about how he uses it to benefit others. This is a modern reflection of Stoic values, using wealth as a means to support the greater good, rather than as an end in itself. The Stoics also taught that we should not be overly attached to our own plans and desires. They believed in the concept of amor fati, or the love of fate, which means embracing whatever happens to us as part of a larger, divine plan. This includes our financial fortunes or misfortunes. By accepting what comes our way with grace, we can maintain our peace of mind and avoid the frustration that comes from clinging too tightly to our own expectations. Imagine you've been working hard for years to build a business, and suddenly, due to circumstances beyond your control, the business fails. The initial reaction might be one of devastation, but the Stoic approach would be to view this setback as an opportunity to practice resilience and adaptability. Perhaps this failure opens the door to new possibilities you hadn't considered before. By accepting your fate and moving forward with courage and wisdom, you can find new paths to success and fulfillment. This doesn't mean being passive in the face of challenges, but rather approaching them with a mindset of acceptance and a willingness to learn and grow. The Stoics believe that every experience, whether positive or negative, is a chance to develop our virtues and strengthen our character. When we stop resisting what we cannot change and start embracing it as part of our journey, we unlock a deeper sense of peace and purpose. The Stoics also understood that true wealth lies in the relationships we cultivate. They valued friendship, family, and community above all else. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, often reflected on the importance of surrounding himself with people who shared his values and supported his growth. He understood that material wealth is fleeting, but the bonds we form with others provide lasting joy and support. Consider your own life. How much time and energy do you invest in your relationships, compared to your pursuit of material success? The Stoics would encourage you to prioritize the people in your life, those who bring you joy, challenge you to grow, and support you in difficult times. These relationships are your true wealth. and nurturing them will bring more fulfillment than any amount of money ever could. Let's bring this back to a modern context. Think about the times when you've spent money on something, perhaps a luxury item or an expensive meal, versus the times when you've invested in an experience with loved ones, like a family vacation or a simple gathering with friends. Which brought you more lasting happiness? The Stoics would argue that while material goods may provide temporary pleasure, it is the experiences shared with others and the bonds formed through these experiences that bring true and enduring happiness. These moments of connection, love, and shared joy are what make life rich and meaningful. They are the memories that stay with us long after the thrill of a new purchase fades away. The Stoics believe that by cultivating strong, virtuous relationships, we create a support system that helps us navigate the inevitable ups and downs of life. When we face challenges, it's not our wealth that sustains us, but the kindness, wisdom, and encouragement of our friends and family. In this way, relationships are a form of wealth that grows the more we invest in them. Moreover, the Stoics emphasize the importance of being a good friend, not just seeking out good friends. They believe that true friendship is based on mutual respect, honesty, and the shared pursuit of virtue. By striving to be a virtuous friend, you enrich not only your own life, but also the lives of those around you. This creates a ripple effect of positivity and support that extends far beyond material wealth. Let's think about how this applies to our modern lives. In a world where social media often glorifies wealth and material success, it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters. We might find ourselves caught up in the pursuit of more money, more possessions, more status, while neglecting the relationships that actually bring us joy and fulfillment. The Stoics remind us to refocus our attention on the people in our lives, to cherish those connections, and to view them as our most valuable assets.